Hello folks, Mel the Terrain Tutor back in the studio and back with a bit of an audience and favourite, a terrain lab. Now, for those of you who've been following along, we've been messing around with groundwork, with our swamp, and I've been using some of these, which are leaf scatter, commercial leaf scatter. And I pointed out that, hey, we could use silver birch seeds. Now these are my collection of silver birch seeds, and that's exactly what they are. Okay, and these have been collected from a silver birch tree. Now, the silver birch trees are the ones with the white and bits of black, white bark with bits of black. Look like a zebra if it was a tree. Yeah, and if you look on the tree, you can get these seed pods. Yeah, if I bring it up, and if I just crumble this, you'll see how just one seed pod gives you all of that. Yeah, so I'm bring it nice and close so you can get a good look. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at how to take these from this golden yellow to colours that we can use in different environments. Now, as you can see, this stuff is used, and these are exactly the same. It's stained green for a nice woodland mix. We've got the dark mix there, and I have seen other mixes, and the amount they charge for that, considering that's a handful and mixed in with whatever we're going to figure out they mix it in with, it's shocking. So let's figure out how we do it and make our own. Now, before we do, I've got a little quick prezi here. Someone has done the beautiful thing, of hitting the wish list, which is down below in the comments, and getting me a bit of kit that supports the channel. And here we have some serious microphones. Wireless, so it can go on my phone. 2 microphones, which means when I do shows, I've now got a really good way of recording the audio while I've got my phone on a tripod, because on a gimbal, which I've got, because the directional mics I use currently, they can throw it off and they only point one way to me as I'm talking. So these will allow me to give someone to someone else and actually interview people. So getting back to shows. Now, on getting back, right, whoa, slow down. Gotta thank whoever got it. Right, this is from Lawrence C. Love the videos. Thanks for all the great knowledge you've shared. I hope this helps you continue to make many, many more. From Lawrence C. Lawrence, certainly will, mate. I've just got to build up the courage to go to shows again. The last show I went to was the Warlord Open Day, and whilst my mates were off doing the tour, someone came up to me and they really weren't very nice. And, well, I disappeared for nearly 6 months, and my therapist was very, very upset, and it knocked me back. So it's taken me a little while to get into going to shows again, to be perfectly honest, to build up the courage to go. And my mates have sort of said they're going with me. But when I do, this is definitely going to help. So, thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that, buddy. Right. I did have a quick nose at it before I've opened it, obviously. I'm getting used to showing this off. I can't do spontaneous and I can't do fake, you know that. So, I did have a nose. But cheers, Lawrence. I appreciate it. And any shows in the Midlands, I'll shout up if I'm thinking of going, And if any of you guys want to, meet me there, have a coffee, be a friendly face, just in case anyone else is around, I'd appreciate it, Right, that's all of that. Now, back to these. Okay, right, we've got to stain these. And when I played with these, we played with the stain, I noticed that the stain does actually wash off these. It's not fixated. So that's an issue. So what I wanted to do was have a look at a few things. Now, paints, inks, dyes, or not specific. Where's that gone? Where did I put it? There. Now, right. So, I've got a few things here. Let me move them. Right. Here we've got some Vallejo, environmental sort of acrylic mix. It's a mix of acrylic and some grassy stuff, but it's a really nice, good looking paint. And I'm using these and trying to figure out a good use for them. Next, when we did the, these ones, when we tried staining these before, we used Army Painter. And this was these fibres, Yeah, stained. So that's the before. That's the after with dark tone. Yeah, and it does hit them. Maybe we need to stain them a bit more. But I was curious as to, right, we know we can stain them, so what about a purple tone? Just out of curiosity. And remember, if you're new to here, the terrain labs are very much about playing with it. We're not trying to make anything, we're just trying to figure out what works. And because we're playing with it, you can take sort of tangents with weird colours. Because actually it's a lot easier to see with purple, with bleeds and separation, how it stains, than with dark tones and stuff like that. Also, we might find out something new. Now, the next thing is, I've got some calligraphy ink here. Now, I have got some normal ink, but I think I've left it at home. So I want to grab some of this, and we can always grab it. The other thing about Terrain Labs is they're sort of multiple. So we're going to do a bit of testing, then we're going to look at the results, then we're going to do a little bit more testing, and we're going to figure things over a couple of sessions in one video. Well, look, we always learn something from a terrain lab. Maybe not what we're planning to learn, but we always learn something. Now, the next thing is dyes. Yeah, Dylon, these are the leaders in dyes, I believe. Intense colour, fabric dye. I have never in my life used fabric dyes. Yeah, I don't even know if this is a liquid or a powder or what. So, when I say we're going to learn something, yeah, we're definitely going to learn something. I'm learning something. Now, our working medium is going to be greaseproof paper because nothing sticks to greaseproof paper. Yeah, so we'll be able to soak things, we'll be able to break them off and work with them. So, I've got to get a few sheets of greaseproof paper together, and then what we're going to start to do is just play with the various materials, okay? So, I'll see you after the flash, and we'll start with the acrylic. That prep took surprisingly longer and involved a trip to Sainsbury's for these. Mixing tubs. Yeah, shot glasses. Perfect for this sort of stuff. Now, I've had a little bit of prep. I've got the Vallejo there. We've got the dark tone. Yeah, we've got the ink. And then we've got the dye that I've not messed with. Yeah. I've also just got some greaseproof paper and I've put it on an acrylic sheet. Long-time viewers of the show will remember we've used acrylic sheets in Terrain Labs all the time because they're great for just working on and figuring stuff out. Yeah, we clean them off afterwards. We've got quite a few and they're getting stained, but onwards and upwards. Right, so what we're going to do is dead simple. We're going to get one of these. Yeah, and all we're going to do is, this is quite thick. I don't know if it's thickened up in the heat because the lid wasn't on properly. Yeah, but we can work it down. It's supposed to be a wash that you apply directly onto a model. Yeah, I think, oh, I need my cloth. Yeah, I think we're going to have to water this bad boy down. Luckily, it's right here. So, let's just get that in that. Let's just thin that down. It doesn't really matter how much of the pigment of that sort of stuff we really thin down. Because all we're going to do is sort of fill it in. We're just seeing if we can get a basic stain and how it reacts with the material we're working with. So, yeah, that's liquid enough. Yeah, it's gone lighter because we've had water, so don't worry about that. We get our bag of goodies. Yeah, my harvest, my stash. Yeah, I'm just going to fill it up. Yeah, this is going to get messy. Let's just mix it round and see and let it absorb it. See, this is why having disposable shot glasses is great. It's getting rather clumpy. Oh. It's got stalks and everything in it. That's okay. Now, right. Let's give it all a good scrape round. It has got moisture still going. It is wet. Yeah. So let's just have a see how this reacts. So what we're going to do, scrape it out on our greaseproof paper. Yeah. Splodge it out a bit. We don't know if this is going to dry in clumps, whether it's going to go bitty, whether this is just the bonding agent is just going to bond it all together too much. But we won't know until we find out. And that involves playing. So, yeah, that one's done. there. Yeah, throw that out. Right, very quickly. Vallejo. Right. Wash that out. Right, on to the next one. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on filming, but this might get sped up a little bit. Yeah, depending on, because these are just inks, so they should mix really quick and they should go down really quick. So, right, so there's our purple ink. Right, let's try and not get any stalks in it this time. And yeah, no reason why not. Give this a stir. Let's see how much this absorbs. We can always put more ink if I haven't got enough. Don't want to thin it down initially. I want to get just the root. I'm more interested in how it bonds. Whether it stains, whether it soaks in, whether it's surfing. What happens when we hit it with water afterwards and things like that. You know, we can always come in and dilute it down a bit. In fact, let's do that. Let's do this one and then let's do a dilute one. We'll do it, do it on the same sheet because we can. Because that is quite thick and chunky. Yeah. That consistency is very much like the acrylic. I think that's quite dense. So, let's shake it up a bit. Purple tone. Yeah, we'll throw a load more in. We'll put a bit more water in with it this time. Now, you may be looking at me as I do this and going, look at how much all the sort of wash and thing that you're putting in that. Yeah, I know. I know we are. But it's okay. Right, I'm going to put that. That should help it. The reason it's okay is, one, we're learning. Two, we don't know actually how much it's going to take to actually achieve the effect we're after. So, it might only be a couple of drops. Now, if it takes a few more drops than that to figure it out, you know, I've got no problem with that. Right, let's give this a stir. Let's see where it looks. Now, that's a lot more dilute. That's absorbed them a lot better. Right. Put a bit more in. Got a pod. Now, normally when you use these silver birch seeds, manufacturers actually separate them so you just get the actual ones that look like leaves. Obviously, for us, you know, it's ground scatter, so we can just use them bulk, which means we can take them off the tree. They basically sieve them because the leaf shapes are the actual largest, so they put them through industrial sieves. Right, let's give this a go with a little bit more water in. In fact, take a chunk out and let's fill that with water and do a thin version. So, smear that on there, see if that makes any difference. Doesn't look like it, I'm not sure yet. But then again, that's the joy of these things. Right, let's just really thin it. Yeah. In fact, thin it some more. Yeah, just filling it with water out of my water thing. This is going to get messy. This is definitely going to get messy. I'll dump those in there. See what we can do with this. Yeah, done like this. It's almost like they're floating. What I'll do this time though is I'm going to drain off the liquid. That's a lot of liquids draining off there. A lot. And if I show you, yeah, that's all that's come out of there. Oh, wouldn't be a train lab without things like this. Yeah, but this is how we learn. Right, I think this mix is going to be a lot poorer. But let's give it a go. Let's just see how it comes out. Make sure that they do all get a stain. Yeah, you can definitely see that's different. Right. So that, half of that's not even mixed in. Right, there you go. And so quickly, purple wash. Right. So we've got those on. That sheet's done now. Yeah, and we've just got the dye and the ink to do next. So let me get set up for the next sheet and I'll be back in a flash. Right, I'm all set and ready to go, as you can see. First, the ink. Now what we've got here is we've got some standard calligraphy ink, just a brown. I just want to see how the ink affects it. So, exactly same technique as before. I'll move that plate there so you can see. I'm getting better at these angles. Yeah, I'm just going to drop enough in just to soak. A bit more. Yeah, I'm not going to water this down because I just want a baseline of what it's like with a baseline ink. Oh, that's really strong. Right, let's put the lid on. Always put the lid on your ink before you do anything else. Now, the ink, the gloves aren't actually for the ink. I can deal with ink. The gloves for this dye, I've been reading the instructions, but first let's give this a stir. Let's pound that, let's fill that. Yeah, and give it a stir. Seems to be mixing better. It's certainly soaking up the pigment better than all the rest. It's quite thick. It's reminiscent of the dark tone. Now, it hasn't been thinned at all. It is staining them really well. I'm quite impressed, in fact. So let me push all these down because it's a good, giving it a good mix like this. If it carries across to everything, it's a good sign that everything that was actually in here, you know, the bits on the side as well, got stained. But you can only do that by giving it a good mix. So, I don't think we need to put any more in there. So let's spread this out. Yeah. I always get worried when I first see it come out, but remember, once the actual moisture's evaporated, it'll be a lot different. Unless there isn't any bonding agent in this, in ink. Or there's very little, I'm not sure. I don't know with these. I could do a deep dive, but tell you what instead, there's going to be someone who knows. Come on, brainiacs. Trainiacs who are brainiacs. The brainiac terraniacs. That's what I'm calling them. Come on, you guys who know the science stuff, who keep correcting me like that isn't a molecule and stuff like that. Is there any bonding agent in ink? Well, what is ink exactly? I know it's a pigment, but come on, give us your scientific verdict. Right, very quickly. That's what our ink looks like. Yeah. Not sure about the staining. We will have to see. I'm hopeful. There is another side of this that we might have to submerge it and let it soak over a period of time, you know, so it can actually absorb. So we'll have to do some experiments tomorrow, yeah, and sort of leave a soak over a few hours or something between applying it, yeah, but we can do that tomorrow. First, let's have a look at the baseline. Next, we're on to, this is where it gets funky. We're on to the fabric dye. Right, this stuff is for designed for like clothes and all sorts of bulky items. So it's quite a lot of dye. Now, it says on the instructions that you're to mix the basic dye, you mix the entire sachet into half a litre of water or 500 millilitres. And it also says there's 250 grams in here of the dye. Now, in my mind, that makes it 1 gram to every 2 mil. So what I've got here is, I've got a 10 mil syringe. Very quickly. Grab some water out of that. Yeah. And we've just got to work out, that's quite a bit. We only probably need 2 mil. So we only 2 mil of actual, what do you call it? Of actual mixture to mix the leaves. So we're only going to need about 1 gram of this. Now to sort that, I've got the scales we use for resin. Yeah, and I'm going to start it up. Yeah, make sure it's on grams and make sure it's zeroed with the tub on. Just cut the very corner of this because we don't know how much is going to come out. And measuring 1 gram is challenging. You know, small amounts, especially on this scale, because I can't remember if it does decimals. I think it does. But if it doesn't, then we're going to have to go very... Right, it's a very light powder. I'm just going really slowly because I don't know quantity amounts. Okay. I'm just watching that. Oh, and there we are. Right, that's our gram. Now to bulk it up with water. So we should need 2 mils. So what I'm going to do to be a bit more precise is I'm going to empty the the excess I've got in this tub. So I've just got 2 mil in this syringe. That means if when I'm adding the water, if I slip and I plunge, I don't over dilute it. There's only 2 mil. The most I can put in is the 2 mil it needs. Yeah. So now what I've got to do is be careful that I don't really force it, plunge it and throw the dye back in my face. So let's wiggle it. In you go. Whoa, that's strong. Okay, that doesn't seem like enough water. Oh, it's dissolving. Oh yeah. Oh, the magic is happening. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's quite thick. Right, that's what we've got. It's a slurry at the minute. Yeah, so it's still quite thick. I'm not sure if it's gassy. Very gritty. Now it does say to put into more water. So let's do that. Because it says mix it with 5, then put it into 6 litres. So that's another. Let's throw another 10 mil in. I mean, this water ain't the cleanest, but because that is really quite. Okay, that's looking. So change. Yeah, mix it to a slurry, and then yeah, that's a dye. Right. Oh, whoa, I'm dripping already. And that is strong, I can see it already. Right, okay. First, clean that off before it gets on me. It's like dealing with nuclear waste or something. Don't get it on your skin, for God's sake. Right, let's have a pour the excess in there. This is really strong. I'm so nervous because you know where I'm like for knocking things. If this splashes and ends up on my face, I could be dyed for months. I just need to Right, I'm washing the tub anyway, so it can just go in the tub. I'm not taking any chances. That's it. I don't want it there. It's safe in the tub, disposed of. Right, let's fill this up. It's always an adventure on a terrain lab. Right. Let's see what this comes out with that. I'm actually quite looking forward to it. Right, hold that. I dropped a bud in. Right, there you go. It's not a bud, is it? It's a seed pod. The bud's the flower. Right, let's get these mixed in. It's almost like there's some that just flatly refuse to accept the dye. Others are like, yeah, I'll take the dye. And there's some that, no matter how much I am actually mixing them in and making sure they get soaked, they're not having it. Right. There we go. Let's put these on. And, whoa. Only I could get excited about like staining leaves, staining what you call it, seeds. But it is exciting. Right, there you go. I'm disposing that by washing it straight into my tub. I've just got to be careful now with this tub, because technically this tub is a massive tub of green dye. That could go wrong badly. Very badly for me. Right. Oh, couldn't even see on the screen. Sorry, guys. There you go. Now, it is very dark green, and it is on there quite strong. Oh, yeah, I'm not letting that run. So I'm going to put this over here. First, we need to label it up. So that was ink and dye. Now, with these labelled up, yeah, I'll leave these to dry overnight. We'll come back and check them in the morning. See you after the flash. Right, they're dried. It took a little longer than 24 hours, so I left it 48. But results are interesting. And there's a theme of spotting something. Right, let's have a look. Okay, here we've got them. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to loosen them and throw them over my shoulder. Yeah. We're just going to look at them. Okay, so we've got the Vallejo acrylic, which is basically an acrylic paint with some extra bits in, but it's an acrylic paint. And then we've got the Army Painter purple tone. Now, straight off, purple tone, obviously, looking at it, as we've thinned it down, we've got, sort of a more thin result. That's actually quite nice, colour-wise. Yeah, for getting them for a gentle stain from what they were. Now, just to remember, yeah, if I put some loose on there, that was our starting material. Yeah. Now, once we've stained them, let's have a look how they come off. Yeah, they come off and they break quite easy, and they break up quite easy, so you could easily break these up. Right, let's go for a little bit thicker more tone. Now I want to save these. Now they're nice, and there's actually a lot more dark in these. Yeah, so that's a nice dark woodland mix, to be truthful, and that's a purple tone. I like that. Okay. Right, let's go for the really dark. Right, let's go for a really dark clump. This one here. Okay, there are bits, and I've noticed this all the way through. There are odd ones that don't fully stain. Now, this could be a matter of soaking. So we might have to do a bit more experiment. If anyone's got an experience, let me know in the comments, yeah? There we go. That's quite a nice woodland mix as well. I think it'd be worth experimenting with the Army Painter tones and seeing what we can do. Right. So, that was that one. Right, now over to the Vallejo acrylic. Now, acrylic has a much more bonding, so I'm not sure if... Yeah. I had a feeling. No. Acrylic paint, yeah, it has a bonding element, a binder. Not bonding. A binder to help it bond. That's it. Right, but it has a binder in. Yeah, it's like a plastic, generally, with acrylic. Well, it isn't a plastic with acrylic. Switch the brain on, both. I know it's a Sunday, but come on. But yeah, that's a no-go. Forget that. But inks do work. Now, I think it's worthy, yeah, for us to have a little experiment with a few different ink colours. Maybe? Let's have a look. Right, now, on to the next one. Now, this is the actual ink. Yeah, that's the calligraphy ink. Now, you'll notice, once again, yeah, we've got good staining, except for a few. It's like spotted. But it's the same on all of them. And I'm wondering if there's an element within these seeds that's particularly tough, that is resistant, whereas the other bits automatically soak it, and these little bits don't. Because one of the things that I've noticed is it's always the little sort of, if I bring it up, yeah, actually it isn't. I was under the impression that it's always the bit that aren't the leaves, but I'm not 100% sure now. Right, and then you've got the dye. Yeah, yeah. Right, so let's do the ink. Okay, it's bound a lot better. It's not breaking up like the, like the tones did. The tones broke up really well, really easy, crispy. This has got more of a, this has a feel like it's got a bit of acrylic in it. I mean, I can break it up. And it does break. The staining is really good. Let's have a look at it. And we are breaking it up into, it takes a little while to break down, but it is breaking down. Now it is a much darker mix. That's much, that has stained a lot better. Yeah, I think if it was thinned out and pressed out a lot more, I mean, it is, each little big clump is breaking down into smaller, so I can break this down. So inks work well, really well. I mean, there isn't the full stains, but I think maybe a longer soak. We can do that in the next video, I think. Right. Okay. Right. I want gloves before I touch that. Right. Let's have a look at dyes. Okay, it's broken off. It's crumbly. It's really, it's just turned to a powder. Yeah. No, in the case of this, I don't know if we've used too much, but come on, focus. I mean, you could use it as like a powder scatter. I don't know. I mean, it is knocking out green leaves, though. They are there. I mean, if I lift that up, maybe if you put it through a sieve. Have we got a sieve? We've got a sieve. 1 second, folks. I didn't have a sieve. Yeah, not a normal one, but I did have this off my flop box. So, it is a sieve. Let's give it a go. Yeah. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, right. Let's just mass produce. It's like a shiny on the bottom of it. I've had no experience working with dyes, you know, so. But dyes are worthy of experimentation. Right, come on, you get it. Okay, it's crumbling quite well. Right. Let's take the loose out. Let's see what's left. I don't know, maybe if you were a diorama person, you were willing to pick out the really good ones, dyes would work. But I've not yet experienced dyes, so I could be using the quantities wrong and all that sort of stuff. Right. Inks are what we need to experiment, and tones. That's where I'm going. Acrylic paints, or any sort of acrylic paints with this sort of stuff is out. Whilst it might work really well with things such as restaining clump foliage and lichen and stuff like that, the binding agent, this and this being too powdery, just nah, doesn't work. Yeah, but the inks do, because they don't have the binder. Yeah, or far less. Yeah. So we need to figure out a better way of perhaps straining them. And I think I'm going to have to buy some sieves. Right. Okay. But inks are definitely, and tones are definitely the way to go. I'd like comments about dyes. Now, this is me getting back in the saddle. There'll be more videos coming, trust me. Yeah, I'm working on stuff literally while I'm working on this. Yeah. Let's just get back into the roll of things and we'll get them cracking. Yeah. In the meantime, give me your thoughts in the comments, and if you're back to the channel and you didn't realise I'm back, let me know in the comments. I appreciate it in the comments, guys. I really do. In the meantime, I'll catch you in the comments. All the best, yeah? Ta-da.